Hello and welcome, or welcome back even. This is the second in a hopefully never-ending series of short strolls. This time I'm going to take you on a nice cross-country journey from Scarborough to Seaways, which is a biker-friendly cafe at a place called Fridaythorpe. And unfortunately it's early March, weather's not too great, but the route's wonderful, and if you want to do it, save it for a nice sunny day and it's absolutely fantastic. Anyhow, without any more ado, let's get into the riding. Just before we set off, we'll have a quick look at the route. We start at the Nubian Scorby Library, go out through Forge Valley to Ayton, past Wycombe and out to the village of Snayton, where we turn down to Yeddingham. From Yeddingham we cross the A64 and go to the village of Wintringham, where we'll pause. From Wintringham we cross the Wolds and go to Sledmere, and Sledmere is a straight route out through Fimber to Fridaythorpe, where we stop for a cup of tea. Back through Sledmere and we take a different route back, which takes us across the Wolds to Octon Crossroads, the B1249 through Foxholes, down Staxton Hill, in past Staxton, through Seamer and up Urtonmore Lane and back into Scarborough and along to the Nubian Scorby Library to finish. We set off and the first bit of the ride takes us along what's locally known as Lady Edith's, through Raincliffe Woods and down into Forge Valley before we emerge in Ayton. It's a lovely piece of road, and I often make excuses to ride it when I'm heading in and out of Scarborough. Bit grey and grizzly today, but in the summer it's glorious, and around May-June time you get a very pungent whiff of wild garlic, as the sides of the slope are absolutely covered in the stuff. Having made our way from Ayton along the A170, we've now got to the village of Snayton, where we turn down the B1258, also known as the Yeddingham Road because of one of the villages on the road. As I've said earlier, we'll then cross over, when we reach the end of the 1258, cross over the A64 and ride into Wintringham, where we'll pause and have a quick nosy at the church. Enjoy the ride. Hi, and you found us in Wintringham. This is the Church of St. Peter. Okay, so the piece to camera audio didn't work, so you'll have to excuse the voiceover. Does mean that I will disappear from view much sooner and leave you with some stills of the church and the features thereof. But I was going to tell you a little bit about Wintringham. Wintringham was mentioned in the Domesday Book as being worth £2. Probably was a bit of money in those days, but it doesn't seem a lot. And it belonged to Ranulph de Mortimer. The Church of St. Peter, which I'm stood in front of, was built between the 12th and the 15th century and was described by Pevsner as the most rewarding church in the East Riding of Yorkshire. Not quite sure what he meant by that, but is interesting. It was made redundant in 2004 and is maintained by the Church's Conservation Trust. Wintringham was also the birthplace of Lady Margaret Hobby, or at the very least where she was baptised. She, you may remember if you've watched the first short stroll, was the wife of Sir Thomas Posthumous Hobby. They were the owners of the manor at Hackness and the subject of the Hackness Shame. Her claim to fame is that she was the earliest author of an extant diary by a woman in English. So there you go. Off we go from Wintringham, and the plan was that we'd take ourselves to Sledmere, and in Sledmere we'd stop and have a quick chat. However, as you will see, the weather had other ideas, and instead of giving us a nice dry day, we got a good dose of liquid sunshine. So, rather than stop, we went straight to the cafe, and we'll try again for Sledmere on the way back. Here we are at Seaways. Seaways is in Fridaythorpe. On a summer Saturday you cannot move for bikes in the car park. It is very, very, very popular. One thing that I did find out when I was doing research on Fridaythorpe is apparently it used to host the flat cap throwing championship. Yeah, it's amazing what you find out when you do some research. Oh, one last thing. If you do come here, try the ginger cake, it's awesome. Having filled ourselves with ginger cake and tea at Seaways, we'll take ourselves back to Sledmere. As you notice, the weather's improved a bit, so we'll stop and have a quick walk around it and look at some of the things there are to see. Sledmere is the home of the Sykes family, and Sledmere House was built in 1751 by Sir Richard Sykes and is now the home of Sir Tatton Sykes, the 8th Baronet. There are several monuments in Sledmere, one of which is just outside, which we won't see, and that's the Sykes Memorial. It's 2 miles to the southeast, and it's a 120 foot or 37 metre tall monument, and it was built in honour of Sir Tatton Sykes, the 4th Baronet. What we will look at is the sort of squat dumpy memorial, the Waggoners Memorial, which was designed by Sir Mark Sykes, the 6th Baronet, and is dedicated to the Waggoners Reserve. This was a corps that Sir Mark raised from the local population. Sir Mark Sykes was a veteran of the Boer War, and he'd witnessed firsthand the difficulty of moving supplies around to keep the soldiers supplied. He thought, correctly, that in any future conflict transport would be key. In 1912 he sought permission to set up a reserve and recruit the local farmhands, as they had the necessary experience in moving goods over rough ground. The Waggoners saw service in World War I. Nominally a specialist unit behind the lines, 1,127 men were deployed. 80 didn't make it home. The Sledmere Cross is a replica of the Eleanor Crosses, and it was erected by Sir Tatton Sykes, the 5th Baronet. You may have noticed by now that Tatton is a repeated Christian name in the Sykes family. Anyhow, Sir Tatton Sykes, 5th Baronet, erected it as a folly. His son, Sir Mark Sykes, converted it to a war memorial, adding a series of portrait monumental brasses in commemoration of friends and local men who lost their lives. Sir Mark, who was a diplomat in the Middle East and died of Spanish flu in Paris in 1919, is represented dressed as a crusader with the inscription Later Jerusalem, Rejoice Jerusalem. As we start to make our way home, we ride through the rest of the village of Sledmere. I will just comment about the edifice on the left hand side. This what appears to be a temple or something similar is in fact the covering for the well. It was built in 1840 for Sir Tatton Sykes, 4th Baronet, in the memory of his father, Sir Christopher Sykes, 2nd Baronet. Quite an amazing thing. Not what you would expect at all, and certainly you wouldn't expect it to be as mundane as a well covering. As we rumble our way down the B1249 through Foxholes, we come across two more of my favourite pieces of roads, the bends at Gantondale and then the drop down Staxton Hill. As we run back down the A170 Stepney Road into Scarborough, just remains for me to say thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this, please do give a like and subscribe and hit the bell for more notification when I do post another video. Just to say again, thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.